Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a big one. What does it really mean to be a citizen? And maybe more importantly, how do our own personal beliefs push us to get up and actually do something? We're going to look at what motivates us, how our view of the world shapes our choices, and check out some real-life stories of how one person's idea can spark some pretty incredible change. But let's start with a question for you. Seriously, take a second. Think about what you and your friends are really aiming for. What are those big goals that get you out of bed in the morning? All right, let's look at some data on this. A big survey back in 2006 asked young adults exactly that. And the results, well, they're pretty eye-opening. A whopping 81% said getting rich was a top goal. Over half, 51%, wanted to be famous. And what about the goal of helping people? That came in at just 30%. I mean, that's a huge gap, isn't it? And that difference in priorities, individual success versus helping the community, it brings up a much bigger question about our role in society. It makes you wonder, is citizenship just a word on a passport, a label we have, or is it something we're supposed to do? You can really think about it in two ways. On one side, you've got legal citizenship. That's the straightforward one. It's based on where you were born or who your parents are. But then there's this other idea, active citizenship, which says, hey, you have a duty to get involved and work to make your community better. It kind of reminds you of that old saying, right? You get out what you put in. So is that what society is? A kind of deal? Is it fair to say that if you want to enjoy all the rights and freedoms, you also have a responsibility to pitch in and make things better for everyone? And the thing that shapes whether you even want to participate, that all comes down to your personal ideology. Think of it like an invisible pair of glasses that each of us wears, coloring how we see the world and our role in it. Ideology might sound like a heavy word, but it's really just your personal framework of beliefs and values. It's the thing that guides how you make sense of what's happening around you and ultimately how you decide to act. It's the why behind what you think needs to be done. So how does this actually play out in the real world? Let's take a look. On the screen, you'll see two really powerful photos, both from the same Canadian mission in Afghanistan. On one side, you see this moment of kindness, soldiers giving backpacks to kids in a classroom. On the other, a moment of profound loss, soldiers carrying a flag-draped casket. So just take a moment. How do these images make you feel? Do you see a mission of help and hope, or do you see the brutal cost of war? Or is it somehow both at the same time? Whatever your immediate gut reaction is, that's your personal ideology kicking in. Now, how we define our own citizenship can be so personal. There's this incredible short story by Thomas King called Borders. In it, a mother is at the US-Canada border, and the guard asks for her citizenship. She doesn't say Canadian or American, she says Blackfoot. For her, her real identity, her citizenship, is rooted in her heritage, not some line drawn on a map. And then you have a totally different perspective. For J.C. Che, who immigrated from Korea, citizenship is all about the opportunities and freedoms she found in her new country. For her, it's about what she can do now, who she can become. So we all have these deep personal beliefs and worldviews. The big question then becomes, how do you get from just believing something to actually making a real-world impact? How do you create change? Well, a lot of the time it starts with the power of community. This cartoon just nails it. One person can do some good, sure, but a whole network of people all working together, now that's how you can have a massive impact. And people are putting their beliefs into action on every single level. So let's look at 3 quick stories that show what this looks like, from a single neighborhood all the way up to the entire globe. First up, on the local level, we've got Pat Nixon. He was actually homeless himself when he was a teenager. That experience is what drives him today. His past isn't just some backstory. It's the engine that powers his work building affordable housing for others in his city. It's deeply personal for him. Okay, now let's scale it up from local to national. Meet David Shepard and Travis Price. They were just regular high school students who saw a younger kid at their school getting bullied, and all for wearing a pink shirt. So what did they do? Their response wasn't some big, complicated plan. It was simple, it was spontaneous, and it was brilliant. They went out, bought 50 pink shirts, and got their friends to create a sea of pink to show their support. And that one simple act of solidarity, it sparked the anti-bullying Pink Shirt Day movement in schools all across the country. And finally, let's go global. This is Corey Chillibeck. He looked at the global problem of unsafe drinking water and decided to tackle it using a system that some people might actually criticize: capitalism. He didn't protest it. He decided to use it, starting a bottled water company with a completely radical mission. I mean, just listen to his philosophy. His company, Earth Water, donates 100% of its net profits to the UN to help fund clean water projects. He's literally turning a product you'd buy at the store into a tool for global change. So when you look at all these stories, from a city shelter to a high school hallway to a global water project, the common thread is that they all started with one person's belief system. And of course, that brings the whole thing right back to you. Look, if you're feeling inspired to do something, it doesn't have to be this huge, overwhelming thing. This slide lays out a really simple but powerful way to start. First, just figure out what issue matters to you. Then learn about it, brainstorm what you can do, and finally, make a plan. And that really brings us to the final big question of this explainer. It's not about what Pat or David or Corey did. It's about you. To what extent are you going to let your ideology, your own vision for a better world, shape not just what you think, but more importantly, what you do as a citizen?